Welcome. Welcome back, my friends. Welcome home. My name is Melissa, and I will be your multidimensional cosmic tour guide today. Would you like a cosmic message? Good, because I've got a cosmic message for you today. We are going to talk to Mother Mary and do a little bit of interaction with the cosmos, the cosmic heart, and just kind of do a little bit of check-in about what's going on in the cosmic energy right now. The multi-dimensional, multi-bandwidth layers of who we are. So the first message I'm getting is not only from Mother Mary, but from many of your loved ones in spirit. So I've got mothers lined up, moms, and some dads, some grandparents, some sons and daughters, and a little bit of magic. So they're all like almost like being a little bit dramatic and saying the universe loves you so much. God loves you so much. It is incomprehensible, just as being in that lower matrix is incomprehensible in words and mind and thought. And we're being sprung out of the lower densities as we speak. And they're saying some of the things like karma is playing out physically, and it's been kind of gross or ugly and painful. However, it was always just reshuffled in the past, and the pieces like people doing things to each other, lying, cheating, stealing, betraying, harming, scandalizing, scamming, harming the light beings, the children of God. Those things were being undone quite a ways back. I was seeing that very strongly 3, 4, 5 years ago in pieces. And your message from loved ones from Spirit and Mother Mary are saying that you're loved beyond all comprehension and measure, and let your light shine as you stand up here in these times that we've got solar flares and light energies coming in that are just beyond anything we've known, and everything is uncomfortable in these rapture times. These revelations times, these end of times. And they're saying it's just an adjustment, and those karmic pieces are being snipped out still. And we are climbing up. It's almost like Jacob's ladder to these next layers of consciousness where we belong. And so Mother Mary is saying, please know that the unconditional love will continue to stream in and hold each one of you throughout your days and nights and your paths, and you have been protected more than you know. So those lower energies or entities that seem to be talking through people, seem to be body snatching groups of people, seem to be shaking up our world in different systems and ways and layers, it's actually a good thing. And even though we have had many losses and pains, the connection with that unconditional love is what you're feeling to all of the light workers, and the light workers in particular, just as Mother Mary over the many years has been called horrible things. So the distortion, or those who ran things, would target the light in different ways. And what has happened for many people, perhaps it's persecution, judgment, prejudices, lies, all lies. She's saying it's all lies. And she's putting on a boxing glove, and she's going, she says, I call them booty noodles. So demon things, dark things, traumas in us, our addictions, our suffering and pain and worries, and our overthinking minds, and our mind control that has been impressed into all of humanity, was there to separate, isolate, harm us in every angle and every aspect of who we are. So she's got the boxing glove out, and she's like, Pow. Our grouping that's with us today is saying it's not funny. It's not that those who have been harmed or had to be married to a narcissist or abused or persecuted, hunted like animals, prey, or those who have been sick and had dis-ease, or those who have had oppression, depression, suppression, suffering and all different layers are not real, because it is here as we're in the physical density. And she says it's not that a loss of a daughter or a son is not real. However, the pain and the grief is real. However, those connections and unconditional love will teach you and show you, each one of you in your own ways, and bring you your signs in your own ways, from God, from the light, from the universe, from source, creator, from the highest self of who you are, in really cool ways upcoming. And we'll get through the quagmire and the booty noodles that harm us. And she says, if you can, don't look at the graspers. And she says, she says to me, she's like, don't look, this has nothing to do with you. And so she's saying this to all of you. Don't look, it has nothing to do with you. Not that we will ignore or hate people, but just stay stable in yourself in these revelations times. And she says, remember, she's got her boxing glove on, pow, to some of the demons that have haunted all of us. All of humanity, all of the people that have ever lived on this planet. She says, pow, those things are liars. They are only manipulators. They are only cheaters. They are only to bring programs. They have programs like a computer program in this simulation, only to bring suffering and pain and isolation and separation. And one of the main programs, or I call them programs that have been embedded in humanity and sometimes can slide in because all of our forms, all of our spirit forms have been just beaten down, is depression and isolation, or shame, guilt, suffering, and getting others to go against other groups of people in mobs, grouplets. I call them groupers, like, you know, that fish that's in my head. I'm like, oh man, that's a gross group of groupers or grouplets. And that fish is just like, it's like a really funky looking fish, the groupers are. So you got to look that up because it's a little bit funny. And then we can look in the mirror and go, oh, what is it in me that I can also say I judge or I hold in judgment? And she says, remember, throughout history, there are, for the Christians especially, there are two really strong beings that people have called horrible names and set aside, not seen for who they are, not seen any value in, or certainly degraded them and called them names and persecuted them. So throughout history, in our scripts and our texts and our knowledge, Mother Mary's one, because they called her the whore of Babylon, right? And they said that she was actually the dark mother. So if we can, our minds can wrap this up here. The dark mother existed. It was the inverted matrix. It was supposed to be our Eden, Garden of Eden world. The dark mother was the inverted demonic devil, Satan, feminine, not the divine feminine, but the dark feminine of Mother God, the inverted part. And that's been within all of us a little bit. The false lights, the pain, the fear, the whore of Babylon that caused all the problems, all the things. And she's saying, so in each one of us who have been called names or pushed aside or been mistaken for something that someone else's mind created, very false, defamations, slanders, things like that, and persecutions and abuses, because of groups of people thinking so-and-so was lesser. So we could go throughout history again, and I think we shouldn't, but we could go out through history again and really touch base with some of the inverted, horrifying, dark programs in the mindsets where people went along with it or got in groups and said, sure, let's kill the people that have a body like yours. Let's run them out of town. Let's call them frauds. Let's make up stories about them. Let's steal everything they ever built. Let's take all their money and spit on them. How about anyone with a different skin tone? And throughout history, there's many places and times. And that's real disgusting because God doesn't make mistakes in creation. And of course, our physical reality, our simulation is kind of fleeting. And to me, again, always, I'm like, gosh, we all have different sizes and shapes and colors and textures of who we are. Our voices are different. Our eyes are different. Our hands are different. I love hands. And so Mother Mary is saying anything of those pieces that can cause separation or suffering in a big way are being illuminated and looked after. And, she was called the horrible things. And then still sometimes even the loving, God-loving people, light-loving people, the good people, sometimes go, are you worshiping Mother Mary? Because, like if the Catholics, and they're saying no, but they're saying that's a medium or, a peace, a spark of God, just as Jesus is. So, she's saying, I just want you to know that the other one that we're going to talk about today, which is Mary Magdalene, they totally smeared her, campaigned her for thousands of years, even though she was the Christed elder as well. So of the divine masculine and feminine. And so we're seeing a large showering of illumination over the divine feminine who has just been brutally snubbed, snobbed, smashed, persecuted, killed, burned at stakes, things like that. And especially in this Halloween time, because Christ comes through everything if we can open the doors to those things. And that's what's happening right now. Illuminations, opening doors, rebirths, and not trying to be religious, but Mother Mary holds that unconditional love. And that I went outside and I got a rose off my rose bushes. I'm just shocked at how late in the season the roses are coming up, and I can just smell the rose energy. And she says, smell the roses is something I would like to tell all of us as you hold that up for humanity, the beauty in things, even in the worst of days. If you know of anyone hurting, those prayers you send up for them, anyone that doesn't want to be here, doesn't want to be alive, anyone that's having a very hard time clearing and cleansing and healing from the guilt and shame that humanity has been projected upon and burnt into, please say prayers or hold them in your heart in that pure love. And Mother Mary will hold your hand and kind of walk with you. And she says it's cosmic, as we can look up as you are as big as the universe in your own right, in your own way. We can hold the light in all of our layers and bandwidths. And that will connect us with our soul tribe, soul families, soulmates, twin flames, and like-minded and like-hearted others. So she says it's a new dawn in a lot of ways. And she said, hold up those prayers for all the earth. It's really cosmic. All the places and all the spaces. And she says it does make a difference. And again, if there's anyone that's having a hard time opening the doors to their destiny, I know I've had a hard time here and there. I know you have had a hard time here and there. There's extra illumination coming in. And many of you, she's saying, have had to be in kind of quiet or meantime. I call it meantime mode. And she's saying in the meantime, as you study and learn and grow in your next steps, purposes, missions, which will be very much more tuned up and you'll be called upon in these next days, because you are the ground crew. And smell the roses as you go along, and let's make it fun. And you are precious and important and irreplaceable. And I know I have said this many times, that she's saying this is a good time for this. And let's light a candle. I do every day and say prayers, and feel the bindings and the curses and the hexes, vexes, and spell works, and the hatreds and the judgments and the prejudices and the diseases break away and transmute and become whole and light as the illumination, the solar energies are coming in and coming from the earth itself. I'm going to pull a couple of cards, and I got out Denise Lynn's Sacred Destiny cards to see if there's anything that we can know. And the grouping of loved ones, the heavens are reaching out to us, saying, reaching out to us. And remember, your signs, your codes, your truth is coming in really cool ways. So keep your eyes open. And even if we can't prove it, just know that your communication with, like your heart, your connection with God is really being amplified in these, illuminating times. And, keep asking for that unconditional love, for it will help you flow as you were always meant to, and bring those pieces, those pieces of you out of that lower density. And in that it's like a chain reaction, and delouses and unstitches those throughout history who've been called names, been stomped on, they've been dead and gone for tens of thousands of years. Or last week, and she's saying, let that grief be, it's almost like sopped up by the sun inside of you, the light inside of you, the Son of God in you. So I'm going to pull Sacred Destiny card, see if there's anything we can know. As a mother is saying, I stand next to the divine feminine mother of God, Mother God, representation that many of us know, who is Mother Mary, and all the God goddess energies or depictions throughout time are a higher level of who we are, and a spark of God in themselves. Those are also being cleansed, but the divine feminine is being nurtured and nourished a little bit extra right now in these times as we come out of the mire. So I pulled the openness card. This is really cool timing. So we've got the moon with all the stars, and there are depictions of Mother Mary with the stars in her crown. And she says, so the mysteries of God, the signs are coming to you and being unfolded from the darker spaces and crevices in who we are, and the distortion out of the distortion, so that we can't use some of the spiritual knowledge and abilities and senses, so that we will not use it for dark purposes anymore. And they're being illuminated and coming up into your crown and your stars, your templates, your map, and your signs will be really, really, really strong and relevant. And it's okay to be open in yourself, because you are being super divinely protected. And, we're, cleansing the shadow for sure. And, as they say, the dark side of the moon, it's no longer the dark side of the moon. We know. And there's a little bit as a disclosure in this as well. Me personally, I don't know if we're on flat earth or round earth or whatever, but the simulated, computer program that we've been in is being unearthed openly and illuminated openly. And the core of our very planet, that we live upon all the way up is being illuminated for us to see. And in that we will have waves of unconditional love that can go into each cell and molecule of our energy and expand us and connect us just as we are supposed to be. And so expect a little bit of love and messages as this really is time where the veil is most thin. And especially in this cycle, I gotta say, the veil is really thin. So expect some messages from your loved ones, your guides, your guardian angels, and they are more pure and able to connect in more pure ways and in unconditional ways than ever. I've had people during readings, all the years being a psychic medium, say, well, so-and-so didn't love me. And I'm like, yeah, probably not here. And they were horrifying beings here, but narcissists mean hurtful people. But sometimes if they have chosen the light, they, in those higher dimensions, those pieces not only are known, but they are purifying and rising up just like we are. So we're bringing those hurt pieces out of our density, the 3 and 4D densities. And we are ascending as we speak, and that's being illuminated. And some of those beings really do love you in spirit. And some of the people that we've learned with, had soul contracts with for thousands of years to teach us and help us learn. We were kind of tricked into some of those. And she's saying, you don't learn the same lessons over and over, being reborn into this karmic cycle of kind of dark ick over and over. Just to be tricked again and to do it again and keep on the same soul contracts. So she's saying those soul contracts that we've had, many did not follow through and complete their purposes. So they're being separated from us so that this unconditional love, the light is coming in like never before to heal the pieces and bring us back so that we can start anew in that unity consciousness where there's, some harmony and love and the right connections and the people that do love you here on earth and in spirit. But they're coming closer and we'll feel their warmth. We'll feel messages. And when you think of some of the people that we love that are past, just know that they are right with you and can talk to you. And yes, keep away from the dark ones and just know that false light or the confusion spells and curses and bindings that we've all been under are being broken. Pooh, like the boxing glove of Mother Mary. We don't need that. Hit the road, Jack. One more card for our cosmic reading today. Leadership. Many of you are being called to step up into your leadership. I know I have tried to be quiet for the last few years, in a lot of ways. And I don't know everything and you don't know everything, but together we, bring it together and know a lot. And so if you're being called to leadership in certain ways, answer that calling and let the inspiration, move through you and let the inspiration be part of your flow. Because that unconditional love is going to support you. You're loved beyond measure. Prayers are being heard. Your meditations are being nourished and nurtured, and you're on the right track. Welcome home. And you are welcome to call on Mother Mary or any of the other ancestors or ascended masters as they will heed your call in that purified form. It's okay. It's going to be safe. That Christed form. And so, she's saying we're shutting some doors to those heavy, densities that have held on to us in the past. Good job, everyone. Thank you all so much for the likes, shares, and subscribes. I thank you deeply, truly. I appreciate you. Thanks. Many, many blessings, cosmic love blessings.